Hey everybody, welcome back to the Branson Show. My name is Dane Braden.
I'm Ginger Michaud with Braden Homes Real Estate Magazine.
And
Happy to be here today.
Yes, today we are joined by Mr. Ted Martin. He is the fire chief and the director of emergency management for the Branson community. How are you, Ted?
Good afternoon, doing great.
Thank you for joining us today. We would have loved to have you in person, but given the circumstances, we're all, including you, are doing our part to help flatten the curve. So he has joined us virtually today. So Ted, what we want to do is review the latest mandate put in place by City Council this past Monday night. And one of the major bullet points on that was the fact that it did shut down non-essential businesses within our community. I'm sure you've already gotten hundreds of questions about what qualifies as essential or non-essential. Can exceptions be made? So we have found that the best way to get accurate information is to go right to the source. And from my understanding, I believe that you, as well as Stan Dobbins, city administrator, have the ability to make exceptions for certain businesses. Is that correct?
That is correct. The mayor signed an emergency proclamation last week, and that by ordinance shifts a lot of responsibility to the city administrator and to the emergency management director. The purpose of that is to keep business going for the city, whereas some things require the board to gather. Well, it's obviously very difficult when your board is all volunteer. They already put in lots of hours every week on a volunteer basis. So to get them together, because they all run businesses, they all have families. So this, through the emergency management process, allows us to do some of those things that we know is right. We can have some transparency on it, and we can have a follow-up with the board at the next meeting.
Excellent. So for people that have questions about whether or not an exception can be made for their business, where's the best place for them to go to get those answers?
Sure. There's a lot of resources out there right now. And let's start at the federal level. Federal level, we just encourage people to look at the CDC website, the Centers for Disease Control. That's good, consistent messaging for preventative measures. So we're focused on prevention, mitigation, preparedness, recovery. We've got a team working on those steps constantly until we get this thing over with. So the CDC is really the champion for consistent messaging nationwide. You drop that down to the state level, it's the Department of Health and Senior Services. So that's the health level for the state of Missouri. Lots of great consistent messaging there as well. Now, right down the food chain is the Dane County Health Department. I believe you've already visited with Lisa, or you have her on the radar.
Yes.
The health department is also championing at the local level good communications for our businesses and for our community members as well that just might be home related to COVID-19. Then also at the local level, the City of Branson website, bransonmo.gov. On that website, you will see a red bar that says COVID-19. And every media release, every communication from the board, every board action, every step we take is listed on that website, plus several links. So the citizens and the businesses have the opportunity to get on that website constantly. Added today is a link from our GIS department, the Global Information Systems, the satellite tracking type resources that we have. We have a rock star in that department. His name is Curtis, and he is excellent at tracking data for us through GIS resources. That will have a live map for schools that are closed, businesses that are closed, the hospital locations, any test site locations, which of right now there's one here in Branson. And we can talk about that more in a minute as well. So there's a lot of information. You just got to go to the city's webpage and follow that. Beyond that is social media pages. That's a given for the city of Branson and for the fire department as well, and Dane County Health Department. So use those resources. And then to just finish up your question about, okay, I still have a question about my business. Can I be open? Just call us. And that phone number is 417 243 2780. So again, 417 243 2780. That will get you into the fire station direct, and we will be able to determine, based on the ordinance, if you're a non-essential business or an essential business. Essential businesses, it's very simple. It is healthcare, it is daycare for people that are working essential businesses. In other words, if you're not essential and I'm just tired of my kids, no, you're not supposed to be using a daycare. I know that's probably happening already across our community. So healthcare, daycare, the restaurants that have drive-up services, government buildings, construction, and people that support construction, like the big box stores that have the hardware supplies. And so that's really where we're at. Why just those locations? Well, the grocery stores need to be open, and we need to be able to have people get essential needs. But it's not a time to go shopping for a new tie or a new suit or anything like that, or get your nails done. Those are things that are non-essential. That's where we're trying to limit the contact, limit the movement of people that just don't need to be out right now. When I'm done in my office, I work from home, and we're just not going anywhere right now. For example, we had some friends Tuesday night. They've been in Florida for the week for spring break. We were supposed to pick them up. So my wife and I, we took their car and my car and went to the airport, met them in the drive-up lane, tossed them the keys to the car, and did air hugs, and then we drove straight home. So the point was that we want to limit the spread of the COVID, and it's really, how do we do things better today than what we did in the past? How do we do things differently than what we did in the past? And I think that's where we're at today.
I think definite mindfulness is the key. And but I heard you mention going to pick up someone from the airport. So the airport is still currently up and running, and transportation within the state is the same. Just be mindful. Is that what I'm hearing?
It is. This young couple that we picked up, for example, they had gone to Florida, hit attractions on day one, beach on day two, then that community shut down, as ours has. And so he works for a local business in our area. And by Tenney County guidelines, if you travel outside of the state of Missouri, you're requested to self-quarantine. So he is off work for 2 weeks. She is off for 2 weeks. They're staying in their apartment and just kind of social distancing, self-quarantining to help prevent the spread. Even though probably a good chance, but when you start watching the numbers, even in the state of Missouri, a substantial increase yesterday. So we want to do everything we can do to prevent that spread. And I'm telling you, I get it that it hurts. There are a lot of frontline employees right now that are on my heart that work in our community. And you can say Branson, but let's just say Taney and Stone County, and a lot of frontline employees, a lot of paycheck to paycheck. In fact, I tell my staff it's less than paycheck to paycheck. And so now's the time to check on neighbors. We took in in our home, we took in a College of the Ozark student who is from another country. And so he had no place to go. So that's just one step that we can take. Today I was driving, I went to City Hall real quick to sign another executive order, and came back out of City Hall, and in a yard was a mom and 2 small children and a cat out on a blanket, enjoying the sunshine. Stopped and gave them from a distance a couple of coloring books and some Frisbees from the fire department. Those are great things to be doing right now. Look at our Ozark Mountain legacy. And that legacy is faith, family, friends, flag, future. How do we champion that in this crazy time of staying at home, maybe not able to work, but faith is a given. Flag, let's support the president from today forward to get through this. His goal, let's be done with this, or at least reduce it or flatten that curve by Easter. What a great day to pick to do this together, to work on family, to see that family outside today. We've done more around our house as a family, get the board games out. Those things are happening. The future, if we do this, I guarantee you the future of Branson and our surrounding community is bright. I can't wait to have a great, grand reopening of Branson, Missouri. That's what I'm looking forward to. But for now, this 30-day window, maybe longer, is really going to be tough. So I'm telling you, I may name drop a little bit, so forgive me. But Jack Hershen, the co-owner of Silver City, he taught me a long time ago. I'm not very good at it, but he taught me a long time ago. I'm going to pull this up for you so you can see one. The value of handwritten notes. So I keep these in the firehouse. That our firefighters are fully involved. They're fully involved with their family. They're fully involved with their work, and they're fully involved in the community. So I've written notes to different businesses. We've written notes to people in the nursing homes that can't take visitors right now. In an old neighbor where I used to live on the west side of Branson that is now in a nursing home, can't have visitors. What are things that we can do differently today to make that positive impact?
Wow. I I knew you were busy. I knew you were keeping the community in the forefront of your mind. I'll be honest, I had no idea that is the level that you've taken it to, and I commend you, I respect you, and I appreciate that. It is amazing what a difference even a simple handwritten note can make. But it's like you said about our Ozark Mountain legacy. It's getting back to the friends aspect of it, but also faith. I think overall we have a strong combined faith in this community, and
I think so.
it's going to help pull us through this.
I've had text messages from I attend one particular church in this town, but I've had text messages from other pastors, and that's been encouraging to me, and that's so easy to share that back and to text other people and check on you and love you guys and hope you're doing well and call if you need anything. And that's what Branson and I'm going to say again, Taney and Stone County, I'm not going to just be to our borders. That's what we're good at.
Yeah, that's excellent. Well, Ted, if we may, I'd like to jump into some of the common clarification questions that we've got on this latest mandate, and get your insight on it. I'm sure you can help clear it up for us. One of the, I say one, but this was actually, it was one question that was asked by several people in the same industry, and that was, we've talked about construction companies. They're primarily outdoor, at least for much of that construction process. But what about other businesses that primarily conduct their business outdoors and don't require close proximity to others? For example, let's
Magazine
say
distribution.
magazine distribution,
Or news, whatever kind of distribution, newspapers.
publications, yeah.
Most communications are not affected by this ordinance, so I would assume newspapers, publications would be good to go. Some thoughts on that is, what are we doing differently today? So we're trying to you've heard the phrase, stop the spike, hit the curve, whatever. That how do we do it differently? That if it's construction, then where's your social distancing at? Are you able to keep your 6-foot distance? Are you able to limit your staffing to, you don't want groups of 10 or less together. 10 or less you do want together, not to exceed that number. So how can you do your construction that, we're in the fire service, so there's going to be a sprinkler fitter. It's usually 1 or 2 guys working. Fire alarm vendor, 1 or 2 guys working. But plumbers might be more than that. If you're doing a big commercial property, that there could be more than that. So social distance, get those groups broken up. Think about how you can do it differently today than what we did in the past. I know I work for the government, but catch this phrase. Don't laugh at me. We're really trying to work with reason and common sense. Okay. When we're trying to hit the mission of not letting this hit Taney and Stone County any harder than it has to, these are things we're doing. And I apologize. It hurts. A good friend of mine, she opened a nail salon in our community. Brand new, just bought the property, just remodeled, and boom, done, finished. So here's where people need to go. The Chamber of Commerce and the City of Branson Finance Department have people dedicated to the Small Business Association guidelines. So use those tools for your small business, plus what the Congress passed last night with the stimulus package, to talk about how you get low interest loans to cover mortgages utility bills, so you can sustain your business. So when this is done, we have that great grand reopening again.
That is excellent. Very helpful information. I know a lot of small business owners will welcome those resources and information. Um, and it's funny that I believe that the person that you mentioned as an example, I believe we actually had one of their questions on here, and you've already addressed that.
Yeah.
So that's great. Another one we had was, what about lawn mowing, landscaping type companies?
Landscaping is all good outside. Again, social distancing, keeping track of where your employees are, not having more than 10, and just watch your contact. Realtors were a big topic 2 days ago. And the real estate companies are permitted, including photographers doing the inside work of the homes, people doing emergency repairs. But we gave them some guidance to the Charlie Exporter Realtors that if you're doing a home tour, maybe you let that person walk the outside, and you go in and do a virtual tour using a camera. Maybe if you're the home buyer, maybe you walk the building, but don't bring grandma, grandpa, aunts and uncles, all the kids, and 4 dogs. Maybe that's what we do differently.
Yeah.
Maybe when we do closings, it's the 2 people buying and everybody else stays away. So again, it's with reason and common sense, and what can we do differently to prevent the spread of the COVID-19.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot about personal responsibility, which is a great conversation for us to have from now on, not just during these times as far as.
Yeah, I was listening to one of the radio stations out of Springfield yesterday morning, and the on-air personality was saying, "Hey, I saw mom and dad and 4 children going into the grocery store." Now, she said, "I don't know what their situation is, but maybe it could have been the mom and the 3 children just stay in the car and the dad goes in." We're not going to the box stores together. We're going one at a time, only when we need to. A lot of people are using the online pickup, and it's not just the big box store out of Bentonville, Arkansas. There's other stores that are doing that same thing. A lot of people are doing drive up curb service from the essential services like restaurants, box stores, an example. That does not mean that if you're non-essential that we want you to do curbside pickup. We're defeating our purpose. Okay, that's why attractions and non-essentials and theaters, they're dark right now. Those are things that are bringing people into this town. I went out to Drury Mincy last Sunday afternoon. Took my family. We're going to take a little hike out in the woods. Thought we were good to go, right? Well, we got to the Bear Cave. If you're from Branson or Dane County, you know where the Bear Cave is on Drury Mincy. Well, there's 2 couples there with children. One couple from St. Louis, one couple from Kansas City. Well, we were just kind of tired of the city. We decided to meet in Branson. We kept our social distance. I didn't say what I really wanted to say, and other than like go home. I never thought in my life, in my career, I would say go home. Never would I think I would say don't come to Branson. Never would I think I'd say we need to close some businesses to protect our community and to protect our community members. What I am saying is that I'm looking forward to emergency management covers preparedness, planning, response, mitigation, and recovery. And I'm looking forward to the day of recovery. That doors are opened up. We have that grand. That's my thing. I hope the chamber just takes my advice because I'm so good at it. Not, but to do a grand reopening of Branson, Missouri. That day's coming.
Yeah, I look forward to
I really
that
like
day.
hearing that. I even like looking forward
Well, and I
that
think
the community getting to come together that way.
I think our community will also appreciate just hearing not only what Ted has to say, but the tone in his voice. You know, you can
Yeah.
tell he's committed to this community. He's got their best interest in mind, and he truly is looking forward to opening it back up. But he's not going to do so prematurely. You know, he's got to make sure that safety is number one, and we will reopen. We don't know when yet, but that is coming, and I look forward to that with you as well.
We look forward to. I just want to make sure that our community is very clear that we're not trying to make things up on the fly. We work in planning operational periods of 24-hour periods essentially. But if it's today, we're trying to plan for tomorrow. Well, guess what? In flooding, That's pretty easy. Following a tornado event, that's pretty easy. You pretty well have a good handle what your objectives are going to be, what you need to accomplish in the next 24-hour period. We don't know about COVID-19.
It's
We don't.
unprecedented.
And so those are things that we're almost working on the fly. But my point to that is we are truly doing that with CDC guidance down to the state health department and the leadership of our Taney County Health Department. And we're supporting that with the emergency management function. We're supporting Lisa Marshall and her staff with the emergency management directors, representatives from Taney County, with Cox Branson. We have a physician on the task force. We have Taney County paramedics on that. So all the emergency management partners are engaged in that planning process. So those are behind the scenes people. They're working. What we usually have our emergency operations center open here at the fire station. We're doing that all remotely now using another online forum to meet with that team. We're also trying to work on lifelines. Lifelines are kind of a priority for this week and then the next week of collaboration to bring resources together that might help folks that need it. People like, I'm going to name drop, so forgive me. It's Uplift Branson, formerly Jesus Was Homeless. The different places, the different food banks here in town. Those are people that can make a huge difference. I saw a social media post yesterday from Salvation Army. They reached out to 60 different families that came to receive a food bag. Branson schools and many schools around the region are having staff pack go bags for breakfast and lunches and distributing those around to the families that could use that support right now. So there's a lot of exciting things happening from people that can provide those types of services. People have called about rent. We do not have a really good answer for that right now, other than to work with your landlord. I believe utilities are solvent right now, but just you're going to have to do some phone calling and communicating with people if your job hadn't quite started yet, or you've been laid off because of COVID-19.
Yeah. Well, and I'd like to add one thing to that for our viewers, if I may. He brought up a good point. If there's payments that you may be getting behind on or are concerned about getting behind on, like he said, make the phone call. And I know some of you right off the bat are going to have some anxiety about making that phone call. Not everybody likes to talk about finances, especially when they're low. But my point being, no one is immune to this pandemic. We're all being affected, whether it be physically, economically, emotionally, or all of the above. My point is the people that your creditors, they're going through this too. We're all in this together. So don't hesitate to make those phone calls, because odds are they're going to work with you. They're going to cooperate with you. I haven't seen anybody in the midst of this that was just out to get somebody else. I think, and especially in our community, I've seen a lot of people band together. And Ted, I'm so glad that you brought up the positive that's going on right now in this community, because when you get on social media or you turn on the TV, unfortunately, a lot of the news that we're getting has a very negative tone. And there's not a big spotlight on hope. But I think we need to be focused on hope and keep that faith and look at the good that is going on around us. Is it inconvenient to be shut down for a period of time, to be stuck in the house? Sure, but I like what you said. You're spending more quality time with family now. You're breaking the board games out again. You're reconnecting.
I would say that there was an old Andy Griffith episode that a pastor talks about, just slow down on Sundays. And so we did the hike at Drury Mincy one afternoon. We walked our neighborhood yesterday afternoon as a family, took the dog for the walk. I think the dog appreciated it to be out of the house as well. So there are those things to be done. We've done some online things with friends. And here's the baseline of it is the pastor where I attend church at, he just how do we show love differently to our community today and tomorrow? And that's so valuable to be able to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, speaking of being outside, I did see, I'm very blessed to get to go over the dam on a daily basis. Lots of boats out, and that made me wonder on the marinas or the parks, are they open?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's open and what's not in the parks and the marinas. I do have a boat on the lake as well. I haven't touched it yet this year, but what a great place to socially distance at. I just signed an order with the city administrator that reopens golf courses, but with social distancing, using your own golf cart, not two guys to or two girls to a cart. The clubhouses remain closed, so you just kind of pay for your golf, buy some golf balls if you need them, but it's not, hey, I'd like to go look for a new polo shirt today or a
Right.
new set of clubs, or that's not the point. If you want to get out, hike and walk, then there's trails open, there's golf courses open. Those are primarily available. It's more the common central areas that are not.
Yeah. That makes
Thank
sense.
you. Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add?
No, I just really like your message of hope, Ted, and
Seriously.
it's just using your noggin. And I heard act like you have it, no matter what, and that will then you don't want to pass it. So that keeps people in the right frame of mind. I forget who I heard that from, but
I would like to share with you that for years we've talked about emergency preparedness for the home and workplace, to have a plan for your family, to prepare a kit for your home and for your car, to be able to communicate with your essential employees and your businesses. Those are things that are called business continuity plans as well. So what have you done to have an emergency account? And I know in Branson, that's hard to do, to say this amount of money is my emergency account. If you use some of the planning tools, you want three months of an emergency account set up. Well, some people have to do that to get through the winter. We've all been there, right? In new employees here and people are working in our service related industry. So how do you have that emergency account? How do you have the basic supplies in your home to last 72 hours? Obviously this is longer, but if it's a severe weather incident, flooding, hazardous materials incident, the things we're kind of, in quotes, used to, that are common. How do we do it better from today forward, to have that home kit ready, the first aid kit, the communication tools, the extra batteries and flashlights, and that make your home and your family better prepared.
great message. Thank you.
And my wife will laugh at me about any arm's reach in our house. You can find a flashlight. I'm a little bit of a flashlight junkie, but just having that in our home, a couple cases, a bottle of water, a little extra food. We actually had enough toilet paper for a week or two, so we're good there. So we got to have a little humor in this, right? So anyway, just be thinking about how do we do it better for preparedness next time as a responsible citizen.
Absolutely. There's with every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. And with every painful experience, there's something to be learned, something to be gleaned from it. And I think we can all learn from this experience together. And it's a good lesson, a good reminder that we should be prepared. And if we weren't for this one, let's make sure we're prepared next time around.
So let's have fun for a minute.
Yes.
If you go to our fire department Facebook page, Branson MO Fire-Rescue, Facebook, Branson MO Fire-Rescue, watch that. We are going to try to daily put on a fun or interactive or educational type 5-minute message every day, sometime afternoon. So today you tour my office and you get a little introduction. This evening, somewhere after 6 or 7 o'clock, we're going to post a bedtime story. I wish I could show it to you. I have a collection of children's books in my office that are fire safety related that I've collected over the years. Our firefighters are bringing in many of you are aware in Taney County that if you have a child 0 to 5 years old, you can get the free books, 1 book a month for 5 years from the Imagination Library from Dolly Parton. So we'll bring those in. And so you'll have a bedtime story from a Branson firefighter. I hope nightly. That's our goal. Please don't scream out if we don't make it. We're still emergency services, right? But our goal is to do something that we know people are home. We're going to talk about smoke alarms. We're going to have a cooking demonstration on the stovetop. We'll do the life of a day of a firefighter. We'll tour a fire truck. We'll use a Jaws of Life. We'll do some different things that people can get a 5-minute nugget online in the afternoon that the kids would hopefully enjoy. Maybe it's a little educational, school-wise. And then the evening, have that bedtime story. So how do we do things differently? Because we're very active in the community. We're out doing safety education all the time. We're in the schools. We're in the businesses. We can't do that right now. So we're going to do it in an alternative fashion.
Yeah. Ted, I think that is great. That is so good.
I love how creative everyone's gotten online.
Seriously.
Reed Springs School District is doing something similar. The new superintendent kicked it off with his video where he made like a, oh, I can't think of it, but you know, like a racetrack, or what is it where you have to go, firemen do it for your test. Like
obstacle course.
obstacle course.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I heard yesterday, I haven't seen if it's come through or not. I'm just going to shout out and hold them accountable to it. But rumor has it College of the Ozarks has taken to all of their students that have now gone home a scavenger hunt. So there's just different things for
right.
professors and instructors and community members to engage and connect that aren't face to face.
That's so cool. And for people that want to tune into the fire department's fun and creative content, or they want to catch a bedtime story in the evening, did I hear this correctly? It's Facebook, Branson MO Fire-Rescue.
Correct. Find that Facebook page and you'll see it. And here's what I'd like for you to do. Like that page first, then like the post and share it, because we'd like to see it go nationwide. And I guarantee you other fire departments are doing this. We're not being totally creative here. This is what the firefighters do. That's what firefighters across this country are good at. So we'd love to be able to connect with you and be able to help spend some time as we're probably going stir crazy around the house and having a great time with our families.
So
Thank
what
you for
we
sharing
will
that.
do then is we will put, when we release this interview, we will put a link to the City of Branson's website where they can click on that red COVID-19 button and get the updates. And we will also put a link, or I guess in this case, we'll tag the Branson MO Fire-Rescue so that people can easily, quickly get to you guys and your content. Ted, thank you so much for your time today. I know you've got a lot on your plate right now. I know the citizens will really appreciate hearing from you and getting clarification on these questions that we brought to your attention. But seriously, I respect you and I appreciate you, man. I love seeing the positivity and the passion coming from you. You know, obviously you're all business. Yes, you're making sure the community is safe. But you're taking it a step further, and you're really showing the love and compassion and care for people in our community. So I think it's great. Please keep it up. You're doing a great job, and I appreciate you.
Well, thank you. You know, there's over 200 employees that work for the city of Branson, and some of those are working from home, and some of those have been asked to stay home that are non-essential. But the police department's doing extra things. You can now do crime reporting online. You can pay any payments for building permits or your water bill online now. The parks department, if there's a senior in need in our city that they just don't know who to call to go pick up groceries, our park staff will do that. So you can call the parks department, look their Facebook page up. So that's just examples from the city of Branson. Just check out the other businesses. You've already kind of covered that. It's a very caring community.
That is so awesome. Well, Ted, before we part ways today, I wanted to give you the floor, give you an opportunity to address the community, say anything you'd like to say, or ask of people anything you'd like to ask of them.
Yeah, I think I rambled quite a bit and shared quite a lot today, but I am committed to those legacy statements of faith, family, friends, flag, and future. I encourage families to look at those 5 core missions and how can we champion that as a community. I'm confident that that day is coming that Branson will reopen for business, but to get there between now and that day, we're going to have to take care of our neighbors and check on people and call them or Facebook them or tweet them or any other social media platform you got, and just watch for those needs that might come about. The supply line seems good, so this hoarding thing of the grocery stores and the big box stores, I really encourage people to take what you need for 3 to 5 days and let others be able to get in that supply chain. Hats off to those employees working the box stores. They're working hard to stock and inventory, and the truck drivers bringing them in. And there's a lot of people trying to make this thing a go. Communications is a big tool. To be able to use a platform like this to reach out to more people is huge.
Yeah.
So keep the chin up. Excited to see the sunshine today, and we'll get this taken care of very soon.
We'll get through it together.
Absolutely.
Ted, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care. We'll see you.
Bye-bye.